We're now on to stage 7. So firstly, we're going to make the small sub-assembly, and then we're going to add that to the main assembly. Before we start, make sure you've got the main assembly open. I've also got open the axle part and the 2-beam with axle holes part that we made in the last video. And I'm going to start with the axle part. So I'm going to open one of the axle parts. I'm going to go to File, Make Assembly from Part. I'm going to pin the Insert menu open. And first I'm going to insert an axle, just fixed to the origin. So choose the part and then press the green tick at the top left to do that. Then I'm going to insert another axle. So this time I'm not going to click the green tick. I'm just going to left click somewhere in the graphics area. So that will insert another axle that isn't fixed. And then I'm going to insert one of those new 2-block with axle hole parts. And then I can mirror the second one over because it's on the other side of the assembly. For your axles, make sure that they're the 3-long configuration. So you might just need to click on them and choose 3-long from the drop-down menu. Now let's start to add our mates. So I'm going to select circular face and a corresponding circular face. I'm going to make those concentric. And I'm going to do the same with this one at the back. And then I'm going to lock the rotation of both of those. So I'm going to expand the mates, right click on each concentric mate in turn and press lock rotation. Next I'm going to make the 2 ends of the axle lined up. So let's select both of those faces and just make those coincident. We can now move that 2-block in and out, and we want to make it so the inside face of it is at the center of the assembly. So it's not quite in the middle, but just off to one side exactly. So let's select this inside face and then also select the plane that goes down the middle of the assembly and then add a coincident mate. We're now fully defined, but we're still missing that 2-beam part on the other side, so we can mirror this over. To do this, I'm going to select the part. I'm also going to select the plane down the middle of the assembly, and then I'm going to mirror. To find the mirror command, we need to go to the Assembly tab. Click on the drop-down under Linear Component Pattern, and at the bottom there you should see Mirror Components. Then you can choose the next arrow, and we can see on the preview that all looks correct, so we can press OK. And there we have created that sub-assembly for stage 7. So we can save this as stage 7 Lego helicopter. Now let's go back to our main assembly and let's insert this new sub-assembly. So use Control Tab to go to the main assembly, and then go to Assembly, Insert Components, and choose that stage 7 assembly that we just made. You might need to rotate it around to the correct orientation. We want to fix it up here somewhere, so what I'm going to do is select a circular face inside the axle hole, and also select the corresponding face on the axle. So I've made those concentric. I'm going to lock the rotation. You can actually do that from this smaller pop-up menu that comes up. But if you don't see that, you can also scroll to the bottom and you can do it in the usual way by expanding the mates, right-clicking on the mate and choosing lock rotation. Now to finish off, we're just going to put that new stage 7 sub-assembly exactly in the middle of our assembly. So perhaps we could just mate the faces of the corresponding parts. But instead I'm going to use the planes just to make sure that this sub-assembly is right at the middle of the model. To do this, I'm going to find the assembly in the parts tree. It should be the latest one. I'm going to expand that assembly, and then I'm going to choose the plane that goes down the middle. Then I'm also going to choose the plane that goes down the middle of the main assembly, and then I'm going to make those coincident. And now we're finished for stage 7, so you can save your assembly. That was quite a simple stage there. In the next video, we'll go on to stage 8. We don't actually need to make any new parts for that because we've already got everything we need.